Here we have verse 14, 16th chapter, Gospel of John. Jesus has been giving the disciples instruction concerning the function of the Parakletos, and so far he's highlighted two things that the Spirit will do, one of which is to convict the world through the words of the apostles of the truth of Christ, and now a second function as well, which is one of disclosing truth. So the idea is that the Parakletos is going to come, and he's going to give them information which they are not at this moment able to bear. They're dealing under the pressure of the immediate circumstances, and of course Jesus understands that in the limited time that he has to work with them at this point, it's simply not sufficient to give them all that they need to understand to carry out the tasks that he's going to be setting before them. And so there's going to be this further function of the Parakletos to instruct them along the way, and he's expanding on that now, as he says beginning in verse 14 here. And he says that one will glorify, doxadze. This is from doxazo, I glorify. This is the third person singular future active indicative. So doxase, that one will glorify, emme, the emphatic form of the first person pronoun in the accusative. That one will glorify me. And then continuing, hoti, because ek preposition takes the genitive out of, to, the genitive masculine singular article out of the, and then emu, the of me. This is actually an adjective. It's a possessive adjective, actually. It functions to kind of raise the emphasis here of the notion of personal possession. So because the out of the of me is the idea here, so it's rather emphatic. He's going to be speaking or giving out of that which is distinctively Christ, and then lampsetai, this is the deponent future of lambano, so it's the third person singular future active indicative. So because out of the of me he will receive. In other words, what the Holy Spirit is going to be conveying to the disciples is precisely what he receives from Christ, which you might say becomes an extension of, an expansion of the great truth of Christ. And then adding, and anangele. This is the word that was used in a preceding verse. Anangelo. Angelo, of course, is to give a message, to proclaim a message. Angelos is a messenger, sometimes supernatural, sometimes not. But this is anangele. This is the idea of bearing, giving up, or with a more emphatic sense, delivering a message. So he's going to receive from Christ and deliver or declare this message, humen, dative, plural of the second person pronoun, to you. So the idea is that the function of the Parakletos is not going to be, as Jesus has already intimated, to bring in all kinds of new information that wasn't already, in a sense, packaged in the truth about Christ, but he's simply going to give an expanded understanding, a more sweeping understanding of Christ. And of course, that's what we see in the New Testament. The disciples were hardly in a position at this point to appreciate great statements such as that which we find in Paul's letters, where all things are in him, from him, to him, in him all things consist, he's before all things, and so on. These kind of sweeping Christological affirmations of the New Testament become part of the apostolic teaching and preaching. But at this point, of course, it's going to take a little more time, and it's going to take this work of the Parakletos to really bring these things into sufficiently sharp focus so that they can, with credibility, proclaim them in the various places of their own ministry.